Hey everybody, welcome back to Nighthawk Custom. My name is Craig Enlow. I'm going to be your tour guide today. I work in our marketing department and then I also handle our international sales, but I'm going to take you through some of the areas here at Nighthawk and just kind of show you what we do, how we do it, and give you a glimpse inside Nighthawk Custom. So we're going to start here in the historic vault. I'll take you through, show you all the history, what all the guns are, and then we'll move on to the other areas from there. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with just kind of some of the history of how we got to Nighthawk to where we're at today. And it starts with the very beginning, back in 2004. So we started building pistols way back in 2004 when we bought frames from Les Baer and STI, and we built the very first 32 Nighthawk pistols using those frames. After those 32 pistols were done, that's when we got our own frames with our own serial numbers. And we started with a prototype right here that was just used for function testing, just making sure that everything ran exactly how it was supposed to. From there, we began at serial number 1 and worked our way up. This one right here is serial number 2. That is Mark Stone's first personal Nighthawk pistol. There were 4 investors in the company at that time, and they literally decided to draw straws to determine who was going to get serial number 1, 2, 3, or 4, just to make sure that it was completely fair. So Mark's got serial number 2 here, and then when those 4 investors started, one of the things that they did was they hired a gunsmith right off the bat. That gunsmith is a gentleman by the name of Travis Gregory. Travis's bench, when he started here at Nighthawk back in 2004, is right here. This is it. This is literally where the company got its start. And so Travis built some of the very first Nighthawks right here, and Mark wanted to keep that as a little bit of a memento of where we came from, how we got our start. So you can come here and you can see exactly where Nighthawk got its start. Up here, we've got some of the blueprints from some of the early drawings, some of the early models when Nighthawk first started out, and we preserved those just to keep some of the history of Nighthawk and make sure that we don't lose any of that history of where we came from and how we got our start. So that's a little bit about our history. Now I want to shift into how we do things here at Nighthawk Custom. So you're probably familiar with the one gun, one gunsmith way of doing things, and that's a big part of what we do, but it's not the only part. So if you're not familiar, what that one gun, one gunsmith philosophy does, it basically says every single Nighthawk pistol that we build right here is built by an individual gunsmith. We do not do an assembly line where that gun is passed from gunsmith to gunsmith to gunsmith and they all do a different part of the build. It is one gunsmith here that will take every single part and they will hand fit those parts completely on their own. They do every part of the build. And with that comes a lot of accountability, a lot of pride, a lot of ownership, and it pushes our gunsmiths to give their very best effort because their name is going to be attached to that pistol. When they finish building that gun, they will literally stamp their initials into the left grip panel of that frame. Their name is tied to that gun for the history of that pistol. And so they want to make sure that everything that they do is done to their very best ability. And so we like the one gun, one gunsmith way of doing things. One of the second things that is a key feature of a Nighthawk pistol is our parts. And you can see kind of a variety of our parts here. We do not use any metal injected molding, MIM parts. We do not use any cast parts. We do not use any polymer parts. Every last part that goes into a Nighthawk custom pistol has been fully machined out of a solid billet of US steel, or in some cases, aluminum. And so you can see it right here. The frame starts out as a solid block of steel. The mainspring housing magwell, solid block of steel. Grip safety, slide stop, the slide, the barrel, the bushing, all of it down to the pins. It's all machined from solid billets of US steel, and we're never going to cut corners and put cheaper, inferior materials in our guns. These pistols are designed to be passed down from generation to generation, and you cannot build guns that are going to last lifetimes if you put cheap parts in them. So we're just not going to do it. The next part is when we machine those parts, every single one of those parts is machined intentionally oversized. So this slide will not fit on this frame. It just won't go on there. None of the parts in this kit will go onto this frame right off the bat. So we do that intentionally. We want the gunsmith who is building that specific pistol, they are going to take a series of files, they're going to take sand sticks, and what they're going to do is they are going to remove small amounts of material until eventually this slide fits this frame perfectly. It is a true one-to-one fit. They will remove a small amount of material, check their fitment, remove material, check fitment. They do that over and over and over again until they get that perfect fit. And so this slide does not fit any other frame. It fits this frame. It is a one-to-one fit on this frame. It will get serialized to match this frame, and every single part in that kit will get serialized because it is hand fit to this specific gun. There are no interchangeable parts. So the gunsmith will get that kit, they will go through one by one and hand fit every last part until that gun is complete and functioning. They then take it out to our shooting range. They will function test it and make sure that that thing performs up to our standards, and then they stamp their initials into the frame. I will now take you through kind of some of the history in this room. This room is packed full of history. It's a big deal here to maintain our history, and that way we have things from our past that we can show you. You know, here's some examples of what we've done over the years. So everything that you see here on these shelves, everything on this countertop, those are examples of models of work that we've done. Those have been kept just for history purposes. Now the pistol that you see in this glass case up here, that is actually the very first Nighthawk pistol. It was built on an STI frame back in 2004, but that was the first Nighthawk pistol, and we are really proud to have that back in our possession and have that piece of history here. You've got some Nighthawk Custom bolt action hunting rifles. We did this for a short period of time back starting in 2009. There's less than 100 of these in existence, but it is a part of Nighthawk's history, and this probably helped open the door for Cooper Rifles of Arkansas, which is now a sister company of Nighthawk. As we move around, everything that you see on these shelves over here are different collaborations that we have worked with other individuals in the industry or companies in the industry. We have worked with Red Wolf Airsoft pistols to create airsoft pistols that are Nighthawk Custom. We have worked with Rail Scales. We have worked with Clint Smith of Thunder Ranch, Silencer Co., Federal Ammunition. We've worked with GA Precision, Advanced Armament, Agency Arms, Bob Marvel, Chris Costa, Richard Heine. We've worked with some really outstanding, well-respected names in the industry. And the cool thing about this is Agency Arms, Bob Marvel, Richard Heine, all these companies, they worked long and hard to build up their name. And so when they lend us their name to put it on our product, that's a huge compliment to us. It means that they trust us and they respect us. So this is all really meaningful stuff for Nighthawk Custom. As we move down through here, all these plaques that you see here are for the members of the American Pistol Smith Guild that we have here at Nighthawk. We've had 7 gunsmiths inducted into the guild, which is basically a hall of fame for gunsmiths. Every single one of these guys built 2 pistols by hand, everything done on their own, all by hand, just the way that we always do it. And they presented those to a panel of judges. Those judges determine whether or not your work meets their standards. And all 7 of our guys got in. We have had more members inducted into that guild than any other company, and we're proud about that. Over here, Korth revolvers. We get asked all the time if we build revolvers. We do not build revolvers here at Nighthawk. Korth, over in Germany, they build the world's best revolvers. And so back in 2016, we partnered with Korth to import and distribute Korth revolvers here in the US. And so Korth does things very similar to how we do them. One gun, one gunsmith. It is an individual gunsmith that will build each revolver from start to finish. Everything is machined out of solid billets of steel and aluminum. They have a strong faith in God, which is a big deal to us. So it was a no-brainer to do business with Korth. So every Korth that comes into the US comes in through us, and they are a great partner to work with. I'll show you a couple kind of unique pieces here. This one right here is a matching left-handed and right-handed set. There were only 30 of these sets made in the world. We got, I don't know, maybe a dozen of them here in the US, and Mark wanted to hold on to one of them. So this is the set that Mark wanted to keep, one of 30 in the world. And then you've got the Bitcoin revolver, which is one of 210 worldwide. That Bitcoin revolver has 1.7 ounces of 24 karat gold inlaid. So all the gold lines, all the lettering that you see on that, that is real 24 karat gold. That revolver is housed in a Cryptex case. That case has its own custom wood box that it goes in, and then you also get this hologram that is serial numbered to match your specific revolver, and the coin in that hologram is plated in 24 karat gold as well. So that's an amazing set, only 210 of them in the world. This right here is a little bit more rare even. This is the Cerberus, and so this is basically a dual revolver. It is two revolvers that are machined entirely as one piece. There are only 5 of these in existence, and this is likely the only one that'll ever come into the US. So this is a really cool thing. When you come here to Nighthawk, you can see this. Everything over here on these shelves, these 3 shelves, the 3 shelves over here, the revolvers that are on the counter, the Coopers that are over here in the corner, when you come and visit Nighthawk, you can pick these up. So if you have been dreaming about, hey, I want a Sandhawk, but I want to know what that gun feels like, you can do that here. It's hard to find them out in the wild, but if you say, hey, I want to find a Sandhawk and I want to put it in my hand and know what that gun feels like, you can come here and you can do that. Or if you want to see the Alpha Hawk, you can see the Alpha Hawk or the Agent 2 or the President, the BDS-9, the Counselor, you name it. You can come here and check out whatever model it is that you've been longing for, and you can get a feel for how that is in your hands and the fit. So that's one of the things that you can do when you come visit us. I will point out in the table here in the middle, we have a little bit of maybe some unique limited edition models that Nighthawk has done over the past 22 years of our existence. We've got the pistol that we did for the 100th anniversary of the 1911. We've got a couple of the prototypes of the VIPs, our Masters Edition, the 15-year anniversary pistol. And then on the far end, there are some limited edition Korth revolvers. We've got a couple ARs that we did in collaboration with Battle Arms Development, and one that we did with Knights Armament, where they built us the rifles. We built pistols to match those rifles, and then we sold those as sets. So just a really cool piece of our history. And then on the far side over there, we've got some pistols that are just part of Mark's personal collection. And so when you come here, this is a breathtaking room. This is impressive. It never gets old coming in here. So we invite you to come and see us, and you will get to go around this room and see everything that we have and all the history. And this is a big part of the tour. Now, this is just one stop on the tour, and we are going to move on to the next area. We're going to head over to our production facility. So let's head over there now. production facility. The production facility is where all of our gunsmiths are building new Nighthawks. So as you can see, there are 2 gunsmiths that have benches side by side all the way down. Every gunsmith has their own bench with all their tools arranged however they want, but everybody in here is building Nighthawks. We're actually going to go talk to Paul and see what he's up to this morning. All right, so here we've got Paul busy at his bench. Paul, what is it that you are working on this morning?
I am getting my link all set up for my barrel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to finish up my barrel fit, and then I'm going to start working on the comp.
Okay, so you're working on a comped pistol, TRS comp, Firehawk, Sandhawk, one of those?
Sandhawk.
Okay, nice. And how far into the process are you on this?
I would say like 80% through the build.
Okay.
Start on the finish and all that.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you just taking a couple seconds just to tell us what you're doing. So thank you very much. So as you can see, like there are gunsmiths building guns. Everybody is building different models. They're at their own pace, but everybody in here is busy building new Nighthawks. And I will tell you, when a gunsmith like Paul finishes building his gun, it's going to enter into the quality control inspection process. That process starts with a gentleman named Joey Lear, who is located up in the office at the front here. Every gun, when it is done being built, will go to Joey or another gunsmith named Troy Huber. Those guys will inspect every single pistol that comes out of here, making sure that everything was done right. There are no machine marks left in any of the parts. There are no file marks left in any of the parts. And if it is right, then it passes and it goes into final assembly, which is a little bit more in-depth quality control. And that's where we're headed now. Now, before we leave the production facility, I do want to clarify that every single one of these gunsmiths, what they are doing here is they are hand fitting every single part on that pistol, making it smooth, like it's on ball bearings. If you've picked up a Nighthawk, you know when you rack that slide, it feels like it's on ball bearings. That's what they're doing. So they are going through and they're prepping the material. They are taking the machine marks out, all the file marks out, making sure that every 90-degree edge on that pistol has been broken with a 45-degree angle, putting a bevel on that edge so that there's nothing that's going to cut your hand or snag on your clothing. So they are making sure that the fit and finish of these pistols is second to none. When they build the pistol, once it is complete, they will take it out and they will function test it in our shooting range, make sure that it runs up to our standards. And once they do that, they'll bring it back to their bench and they will stamp their initials into the frame. And that signifies that that gun meets and exceeds not only their own personal standards, but it meets the Nighthawk standards as well. And that is a big part of what we are doing here. So that's kind of what every single one of these gunsmiths is doing at their bench. With that said, we will head to final assembly now. So this is final assembly. This is kind of a more in-depth inspection process, quality control. All of the blue bins that you see here, these are guns that are in process, that have been built, and that are in the inspection stage. Most of these out at finish right now, getting whatever coating they're gonna get. So like we talked about, the gun gets built over in production, gets inspected over in production, and then it comes over here. It'll actually get inspected again by Mr. Justin over here. If everything on that thing was right, everything was done correctly, no machine marks, no file marks, we send it out to get whatever finish that gun is gonna get. DLC, nitride, color case hardening, Cerakote, whatever it is. When that gun comes back from finish, it'll be inspected again to make sure that everything on that finish was done right. There are no blemishes. If it passes that inspection, it will get reassembled over here. Once it's been reassembled, it will now come over to this side of the room where two gentlemen over here will install the front and rear sight. Once those sights have been installed, these two gentlemen will take them out and function test them a second time after finish, making sure that that gun still operates up to our standards. If it passes that inspection, it will get targeted. They will target that pistol and make sure that it will shoot 3 rounds through one hole. If it'll do that, it's ready to go. They will bring it back in here, they will clean it up. Once it's been cleaned up, it goes across the room to Mr. Jordan over there. Jordan will do the final inspection on the pistol in here, making sure that that pistol was done from start to finish entirely correct. It is as close to perfect as our human hands can get it. If it passes his inspection, it then goes out to our account managers, the sales guys, who inspect it, and then they ship that gun out to whatever dealer that gun is going to. That dealer gets it out to the customer. If at any time, if somebody in this room finds something that is just not quite right, and it's never major, it's never the gun doesn't run, but we have to nitpick these pistols. If there's something that is not quite right, they send it back to the gunsmith makes the correction, and then it comes through and gets inspected again. So this is an important step in the process. From here, we are actually going to head to the custom shop. So let's go there. So this is the custom shop. So what we do back here, we're not building new Nighthawks back here. The custom shop is working on customer supplied pistols, customer owned 1911s or Browning high powers. Those are the only two platforms we work on. But if you've got a 1911 that you want trigger work done on, or a new barrel installed, or new finish, or whatever it is that you want on your 1911 or Browning high power, you can send it here, and the crew back here will do whatever you want on your pistol, and they'll get it running perfectly. So there are 7 gunsmiths that work back here in this area. Every single Korth revolver that comes through Nighthawk goes through Mr. Ryan Ramberg's hands back there. He makes sure that every one of those is perfect when it leaves here. If you've got a 1911 or a Browning high power that you want any work done to, just contact Bob. Bob will take great care of you. We mentioned Cooper Rifles of Arkansas up in the vault, and so that's actually where we're gonna head now. We're gonna take you out, show you what Cooper is doing, and then we will conclude the tour from there. So let's go. So we're up here at Cooper Rifles of Arkansas, and as you can see behind me, we've got guys busy building Cooper rifles, everything, just like on a Nighthawk. It's all done by hand. There is no point in this process where that gun is not in somebody's hands being worked on. And so Cooper is growing. This is a big part of what we're doing here. This is a sister company to Nighthawk Custom, and we are excited about the future of Cooper Rifles of Arkansas. And so we've got benches here where stocks are being worked on, where barrels are being set and barrels are being chambered, and everything is coming together right here. And again, it's all done by hand. So this is super impressive. And then on the far side over here is where all the finish work is being done. And so every bit of these wood stocks is finished by hand, and it is incredible work. These stocks are gorgeous. And so as you look at this wall of all stocks and the ones that are hanging here, we get some just magnificent pieces of wood that we are working with. So from here, we're gonna head back down to Nighthawk where we started, and we will conclude the tour there, but we wanted you to see what's going on here at Cooper. So all good tours begin and end in the gift shop. So that's where we find ourselves here. If you're ever in our area, we would love to have you come in, even if it's just quickly to run through our gift shop. If you want to do the whole tour, I'd be glad to give you a tour. We'd love to have you come see us here at Nighthawk. This is a new channel, so we'd love to grow the channel. Please subscribe. Please sign up for our newsletter. That way you stay up to date on everything that's happening here at Nighthawk. What new products we've got coming out, or announcements, or whatever it is, stay up to date by joining our newsletter. Again, thank you for tuning in and joining us here on this tour. We'd love to see you in person. Come visit us. We want you to know that whatever's going on in your life, you are loved. The God of the universe that made all of us, He loves you very much. If you ever want to have a talk about that, come see us at Nighthawk. We'd love to talk to you. Thank you again, and we'll see you later.